core mace. What we're going to start with is a 30-inch length of PVC pipe. We have marked off the handle where the pommel will be attached, and for the head, you'll want to sand your edges down. You can use a Dremel tool or any kind of sanding device that you want. I really love Dremel work. It makes it quick and easy. So that's the core. We use basic insulation foam for this design. Fun noodle is also acceptable for a good head. Makes it very light. We got a 12-inch piece of 1/2-inch copper fit insulation foam that will be here for the haft. That's just extra padding to keep players safe. We got double 3/4 inch thick insulation foam for the head, which will go up here like this. Make sure that you get your extra 1 inch coming off the end there. And then we got some, I believe this is 1.5 inch or 2 inch pipe that I've cut down a little bit, so that it'll go ahead and layer over that. And then a 2-inch piece for your pommel, just basic protection. In Kingdom Boffing Association, we don't worry about a 2-inch around, as long as it's just there to protect your, in case the weapon gets away from you. Some sanding paper, just basic dollar store brand that I picked up. A measuring tape so you can make your cuts. A box knife so you can actually cut all your foam when you need to do that. Electrical tape, a lot of people like that for the handle. I also use it to secure several places on the weapon. IPG brand duct tape, probably the best duct tape you can buy. I highly suggest it for everyone. It comes in a great variety of colors. And then you'll want something maybe to cut on in case you want to do design work. You want to do several strips of duct tape all at once so that you don't have to worry about going back and picking it up. Alright, so I went ahead and already sanded off the tops and bottom of the weapon, the core. So what I'm going to go ahead and do now is I'm going to take this piece of insulation foam and the seal right here where you can cut so you can actually apply it for the proper use of the material. I'm going to go ahead and take a piece of duct tape, and we'll get a better take on that. We'll go ahead and run it along that seam to help strengthen it up before applying it to the pipe. I find that this helps keep the weapon foam from deteriorating too quick and getting that squishy side. Set that off to the side. Almost skipped a step. I tend to get ahead of myself. So what we'll do is we'll take a 2-inch by 2-inch piece, and we'll go ahead and put it on each end to cap it. This helps keep insulation foam that you use for the plug to go inside of the top of the head or inside the pommel from going into the PVC itself. I like to pull a little snug. Pull the corners down. Look like that. And then what I do is I reinforce its stability with a little electrical tape. Use whatever color you like. Black's pretty good. I had red on hand. So we'll do that at both ends. Again, just take a 2-inch piece. Stick it on there. It doesn't have to be super pretty. I tend to be very particular about my tape work, as many who have worked with me understand. Get it down like that. Nice thing about electrical tape is that you can just pull it, get it snap free. So we'll go around again. Make sure it kind of goes over and has a lip. I find that that helps keep the pipe from tearing into the foam as you're applying it. So we'll go ahead and do now. Get this, wobble it on a little bit. There we go. And then what you'll do is you just pull that down. And then you just go to your predetermined line, so that way you know it's exact. with rule sets and stuff, you got to have exact measurements and certain protections. And that's the beginning of your mace. What we'll do now is we'll go ahead and take another piece of duct tape. And remember at home, cut away from yourself. I've just been doing this way for so long that it's never really going to change. It allows me to get clean coats. So what we'll do is we'll run around here and we'll attach this inside head part, the core, and we'll attach it to the pipe. Again, it doesn't have to be pretty because you're just going to hide this away. Just tuck it in, tuck it in, squeeze them together, get them on that pipe. And then what we can do from there, again, electrical tape. Tends to stay tight. It'll start, lose its grip in the heat. Luckily, we're in Washington, so we only got about 3 months of serious heat. Now, what this does is this prevents the head from tearing off. I've seen a lot of times, especially with maces that didn't get enough strapping, and swing it, watch heads tear clean off, fly across the field. So this is really good safety. Alright, so next up, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and plug the top here. What this does is just helps keep stabilized up here, and then it also keep from the PVC from coming out through the top. Just make sure nobody gets hurt. What I'll do is go ahead, pull off a long strip of tape, and then cut this in half so I can use it to cross the top. We'll go going this way. Keeping that in there nice and snug. And we'll go this way. And that'll definitely keep the PVC from coming out the top. I've actually never had PVC come out. And then one thing that I like to do as well is I'll put a couple strips along the top there to help keep that from bending too much. Since a mace is not really meant for thrusting, you hit from the sides a lot. Well, you should be hitting from the sides all the time. But I'll put strips like this to make sure to help stabilize, so it doesn't rock too much along in here and then end up weakening quickly and tearing off the top. That is something I have seen happen to a lot of people's weapons. So I'll go ahead and leave it as that. Sometimes I like to go around here on the sides as well, around this way, to really get a good strong head. What we'll move on to next is applying the haft, which when we do, it'll go on like this and come up to here. So when you finally add another layer of tape here to here, your head will really just stay on the weapon. So what I'm going to do is, again, with the seam, take a strip of tape and go along there. Now when I do a haft, I leave a little bit on this end for when I put it onto the PVC. That way it's not snug and it doesn't grab on the inside right away. It kind of has a little bit of a easier application. Even with this, sometimes the tape will grab or whatnot, and that'll just tear the inside of your insulation foam, which if that ever happens, it's horrible. Here's a good test for that plug. Alright. Yeah, that held up good. So, what we'll do is just kind of slide this on. Make sure to check your measurements. Gave this a much smaller handle than usual. Alright, there we go. Now we got that applied. We'll go ahead and tape these two pieces together, strengthening your weapon. Also makes it a lot harder for this section to tear. Something that I've seen happen a lot is people like to put like maybe one strip of tape around there, you know, trying to cut weight. If you make your weapon right, there won't be a big weight factor. Just like that. And I just simply crimp. Run your finger along. Keep it down nice and tight. Then we can attach this part down here. I'm going to change to black because I'm going to make the half black and the head white. Just a clean color scheme. I mean, probably the best combinations are blue and black, red and black, white and black, green and black. So it's really up to preference. Go ahead and just go around like this. What I like to do with this part right here is I like this tab to just go ahead and apply it to the PVC as such. And then I'll just roll it. Because again, this is one of those parts that you don't have to be super pretty or super, you know, on point with. You're going to hide some of this, and you can pop this out if you need to. And then just push all these little corners in. And then I just mash them all down. Now I'll get covered up with electrical tape or twine, depending on what you want to do for handle. Even just plain duct tape. Pull the head out, kind of mush it. There we go. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to add the second, really a third layer of foam to the head of the mace. Really give it that distinguished mace look, but also the weapon doesn't break down very quickly. I've made a lot of these maces, they last several, you know, anywhere between 2, maybe 3 years if they're properly taken care of. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to apply it like that. And of course, what are we doing? This one we had to split the seam so we could cut it down to size. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take duct tape, apply it to one side, make sure you get nice and smooth on there, pull it back, roll into it, sorry I'm kind of in the light, and then just apply. And what this will do is produce an artificial seam and keep the mace head together. Now if you have to redo some things or add more tape, or if the, you know, it's easier to do small strips, that is also something I'll take my time with if I need to. So what I like to do is I like to start at the top and do the X's again, or I'll go side to side, parallel. So a lot of times I'll go ahead and do this, make sure it goes over that other edge real quick. Go ahead and just, you know, use a light touch. You're petting your dog. Pull these over, these corners over real quick. You're going to hide that under tape. Sorry about that, we were interrupted by the children. Continuing, what we'll go ahead and do is cut the second strip of tape for the top of the mace. You can be more precise with your measurements if you want. I do a lot of things by feel, and sometimes I do go a little too long, so that's fine. helps stabilize the head a little bit. So we got that part there. And what we'll do is we'll go ahead and take a big strip. And we'll go ahead and measure by going around. Set the mace down. Go out a couple more inches. And that should wrap around. Oh yeah, that's plenty. So then what we'll do, we'll go ahead and cut a couple inches off. And then, just like everything else, you just go about half on, half off. And we'll go a little bit more, 1/3. Jeez, I can't get that 1/3, huh? Okay. And then we'll go around and try and keep that a little bit more even than you have any other things, as it will help with keeping it even on grabbing to the haft. So same thing as we've been doing the whole time. Lean them in, get them to touch, and then just mash. Okay, it should end up coming out looking like that. And then you'll go around here and here towards the end with more tape, kind of sealing everything together. Alright, so what we'll do is we'll go ahead and cut strips to go around. I like to go up and down on the head. I feel like it produces a better quality of weight. And then we'll do the same thing with the haft. Just obviously pick your colors, get a decent measurement just by putting it next to what you want to cover. And then what we can do is go ahead and just take them and measure right here. So we need 9.5 inch long strips. It usually takes about 5 or 6 to go all the way around. Seam right here. So what I'll do is I'll put just a little bit off the side of it, smooth it, and that'll be my starting point. That way, when I've finally gone all the way around, it'll go over it again. And I do the same thing down here. This usually takes about 3 or 4 pieces, depending on what you have for supplies. So I will go ahead and apply those off screen. That way you don't have to sit here and watch me cut tape and put it on the mace. Alright, so I've already went ahead and pre-cut all the tape that I'm going to need to finish the project. Maces are very quick and easy to slap together. Great weapons, very versatile, except for lack of a thrust tip. But great for wrapping. So what I'll go ahead and do is just take this piece right here at the top and I'll slowly roll around. A little snug. Don't pull too hard. You don't want it to crush and dent the weapon. You need that puffiness to help protect the other fighter you're hitting. And then just go ahead and lightly crimp it down. That part is nice and secured in there. That holds all this tape down in case there's weather. One thing I love about duct tape weapons is the fact that the covers actually protect really well against weather. Unless it's heat. That's a big killer. We'll go ahead and do the same thing down here. Should go a little slow. You can always pull up and back. Kind of resituate everything if you need to. Again, let's make sure that the tape lays down. Now you can just kind of brush with your finger. And if you like doing smaller pieces, you can always do that. I always felt like longer strips allowed me to make sure the tape didn't crinkle up or look splotchy, especially after some wear and tear. So what we'll do here, grab this piece, and again, do the same thing right here. Now this one tends to look a little bit less attractive, but if you can get in there, pull it, and you can pull those crimps down. Kind of squeeze it. That helps, one, keep the head attached. Again, it's making it a little bit snugger. But two, just kind of cleans it up. do, again, okay, we'll work on just laying the tape on the cutting board now. So what I'll do is I'll do this down here at the bottom too. Again, just allows me to kind of make sure everything is attached together. That way that it doesn't just pull itself apart. It's a long thing to do it. And then what we'll do is we'll go ahead and attach the pommel. What I've done here, alright, put a plug in. You saw me demonstrate it at the top of the mace. And then I put layers of tape going vertical with it. In the end, I'll also wrap around the outside. If you don't know this about duct tape, is that if you go cross-sectioning it, so one strip going one way and a strip going another way, it makes a really tough exterior. It's really hard to tear. It takes a lot of force. So if you just do like that, got your plug, then what I'll do is I'll take these two strips down here that I cut. It's about 2 by 2, usually perfect for the end of a weapon. I sometimes like to use a different color, maybe even a third color, you know, just to give it a distinguishing mark. Today we're just going to go black and white. Come on. There we go. What I like to do is alternate the corners here, giving it, you know, again, like an X mark. Makes it harder for the plug to come out. Usually takes me about an hour, you know, from top to bottom on making a mace. So they're pretty easy to knock out once you get it down. I definitely like making them for loaning gear, since most new fighters won't try to thrust. They just swing, kind of that wild back and forth swing. Great weapons for them. And then, as we have done so many times before, just crimp it in there. That'll help it keep from moving around too, if you can get it close. And then, oop, this one's gonna give me big trouble. Oh no, the evil has happened. There we go. Saved it. It's a little too close. Oh, it's giving me trouble today. Might be a little nervous. Never really done camera work. Thought of putting this on YouTube is kind of terrifying. So what we'll do is we'll just wrap it around here. This one you can do super tight. Any of these ones like here as well, if you want to do a strip of tape there. So we'll secure there. I forgot one strip. So we'll do. Go ahead and cut a new piece. If you ever have like a edge like that, you know, where it's a little more angled than you like, I would just start with that. That way you can hide it. Because once, you know, the weapon starts to get out there, those things can be seen. Roll this around the pommel. That'll help keep it. There you go. That's nice and good. And the last thing we'll do is we'll go ahead and roll on this red electrical tape. I'll start this process and then send you guys on to the next video. I hope this helps, and I hope you all enjoy. We'll be trying to make a few more of these throughout the off season for swords, spears, maces, well, not maces, but great weapons, shields, whatever we come up and think we can get a good video out of.